Okay, so back to my spiritual spouse. We're done with the peasant for the most part, which is his baby mama. But we're done talking about her for the most part, but I'm still not totally done. So, back to my spiritual spouse. At the end of 2024, when 2024 was closing out, I felt like a new cycle was coming in, like an old cycle. The current cycle was ending, and a new cycle was coming in. Like I can anticipate it, I can feel it. So during that time, I decided to basically leave the people of the past behind. So my soulmate that I was with or separated from for the 8 months, after me and him reconnected after 8 months, I saw that our connection really wasn't going anywhere. Like I couldn't see a future in our connection, you know what I'm saying, romantically. I couldn't see myself being in spiritual union with him at all. So I made the executive decision like to basically leave that idea in the past, you know, in 2024. And with my spiritual spouse, I could still feel him. We were still energetically connected, but we were still obviously in separation. So I planned on leaving him in 2024 too. Like I wanted to come into 2025 on a clean slate. And at the end of 2024, like I intuitively knew that I needed to purge basically everything that happened basically from the time I awakened in July 2022 all the way up until like December ish of 2024. I purged like I never purged closing out none of the previous years since my awakening. So it was like I had a lot of things that I needed to let out. Like I needed to release those things before walking into 2025. I suggest everybody do it. The way I did it was publicly because I have a platform and my purpose on my platform is to inform others, teach others, especially people that are on a spiritual journey. Everybody is not going to get the stuff I'm talking about, and I'm totally aware of that. But people that resonate with what I'm saying will catch what I'm throwing. You know what I'm saying? They'll pick up what I'm putting down. So I speak freely about my experiences and stuff like that, you know, to help others coming up behind me, basically. So I purged uh, the closing out of 2024. So I said a lot of things. And one of the things that I said, because my intention was to leave my spiritual spouse in 2024, you know, I disclosed what his child's mother did, you know, particularly, you know, how she sacrificed her baby, but I didn't say it like out and out, but I gave enough information for him to understand, you know, what she did. And it was a bunch of stuff that I purged, and I planned on leaving his ass in 2024. I just wanted to tell him so that he can catch what she's doing, stop what she's doing, you know, so the baby wouldn't remember, you know, wouldn't get to an age where the baby can remember because she was impulsively doing it. Like she had no self control. So she would have kept doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it. And I did not want to move forward, leave him behind without saying something. You know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't feel right. Like my conscience wouldn't let me do it. Like that wouldn't be right. So I did that, and I went into 2024. You know, I mean, and I went into 2025, and in my mind, I left them in the past. So I could still feel my spiritual spouse going into 2025, of course. Like, I'm telling you, our cord is like made out of the strongest shit you could think of. Whatever the strongest material on earth is, it's ridiculous. But I could still feel him. He still wasn't letting me go. The same thing that was going on since August of 2023 was still going on at the end of 2024, going into 2025. Like, nothing changed. Like, he still wouldn't let me go, no matter what I said, no matter what I did. So I was like, let me see what's going on over here. Let me make contact with this man. One, because he wouldn't let me go. Secondly, because like since August of 2023, like I said, like I would go through different emotions. So one day I would be kind of, raising hell. I raised hell for a while, chill out for a while. I would go through those different emotions. But my intent, it wasn't just emotions. Like I had intentions behind my emotions. Like I knew exactly what I was doing and why, what I was doing and why. So a few of the reasons why I was basically, raising hell and saying stuff that I know would hurt him and saying stuff that I know would, make him be in his mind and in his feelings was because one, I wanted sometimes I would want him just not to come towards me. Like it was a way for me to have a boundary out where he would not make contact. Because I did not like the feeling of being in limbo. I didn't like the feeling of is he going to contact me today? Am I going to hear from him this week, next month, whatever. Like I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Don't come near me. Like just to get not to be in that position. I would like purposely have him in his head so that he would not feel comfortable approaching me. It was on purpose. So that's one of the reasons. The second reason why I would do it, like even if he was to be strong enough to come to me, I didn't want to make it easy for him to be able to come to me. I wanted him to go through hellfire to get to me. Like I wanted him to have to fight his thoughts and his feelings and have to fight through that to be able to come to me. I didn't want to make it easy for him. So I didn't want to make it easy because he didn't make anything easy for me. Like he made nothing easy for me. He basically came into my life with a pregnant demon. You know what I'm saying? The peasant. He walked into my life knowing he had a baby on the way. Like that was a choice. He did not have to make contact with me at all. He chose to do that with the demonic baggage that he had, like out of selfishness. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, let's back up before he even made contact with me. He already had a spiritual awakening. So he knew that he was the divine masculine. He knew that he had a divine counterpart. He should have already known those things. Like, why would you get somebody pregnant 4 or 5 months before meeting me, before approaching me, or before encountering me, or whatever? Like, his decisions that he made before he even made contact with me, before he even knew who I was, like, that set our connection up to be more difficult than what it had to be. You know what I'm saying? Like when he made that decision, and everybody makes decisions, you have an intuition. You're warned. Your intuition is how you don't do that. Cut this person off. Like that bitch ain't just started being weird now. Like that bitch been a weirdo. And he ignored his intuition and he still got her pregnant. And then on top of that, once he had a baby on the way, he still decided to gallop his way into my fucking life with that fucking weirdo and be a pain in my ass. You know what I'm saying? Ended up being a pain in my ass. So I did not want to make it easy for him to walk into my life. I wanted to make it hard for him. I wanted to make it extremely hard for him. Like if you're strong enough to be able to fight through all of the thoughts that you're thinking of because I'm airing your ass out, or the way you feel, like if you feel like I'm getting you in your feelings, I'm triggering you. If you can fight through that, then you can come towards me. Like I wanted to make it extremely hard for him to come to me, and in the end, he never was able to fight through it. So what I did worked. keeping him away. Like, cause I'm not going to be in a position where I'm like when you watch this hair out, oh, when are they going to come? You're waiting for the, like, fuck all that. Don't come. That way I ain't got to sit and wonder when you're coming because you're not coming because I'm making it difficult for you to come. You know what I'm saying? And if you are able to fight through the difficulty, then so be it. But I'm not letting you come welcoming with open arms. So that was another reason why I did it. And the other reason was because I just didn't care anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, I lost feelings. Like, once I saw what was going on, I emotionally checked out. Like, I really didn't care. And I just wanted to move on with my life, pretty much. So, like, during that time, I felt like I was being held hostage. I felt like there was no movement in my romantic life. I had a lot of movement and I was doing a lot of building and a lot of ascending and growing in my spiritual life, and my love life was fucking trash. And I ain't like it. I was like, won't you just let me go? So that was another reason. Like, I was just like, so long story short, like, to get to the point, I decided to approach him because of those reasons. And then the final reason is because I could see that his child's mother, I could see that the peasant was his twin flame. Based off of her actions, based off of her behavior, I had some empathy for him because I have a twin flame and my twin flame is pretty disgusting too. Like, he's a disgusting piece of shit. So, and I never, ever, 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 ever had my twin flame around my kids. Um, my twin flame connection was pretty much in and out in 3 months. So I kind of empathized with him. I was like, okay, that's his twin flame. And he has a baby with her. So I was like, okay, maybe now that he knows, the extent she went to try to get me to do what she wanted me to do, maybe, you know, he's made some changes, you know what I'm saying? Maybe he has some boundaries up just on the strength of what she did to the child. You know, how serious that was. And then on top of that, he was basically interfering in my life. He interfered in my love life. He was controlling my life and stuff like that. And I did so much running. I basically ran from August of 2023 up until that point. So I'm like, okay, let me start running and let me just go see what he has going on. Because I was the runner, he was the chaser. Even though there wasn't really no interaction in the physical, he chased me energetically and he chased me spiritually. Like, he wanted to have me under his control, and I was trying to get away. Runner, chaser, dynamic. I was the runner. So, like, let me start running. Let me see what's going on. So, I made contact with the man. I made contact with him. I messaged him on Facebook. I messaged him on January 19th, and the message simply said, fresh start on a clean slate, question mark. Like, because our dynamic has pretty much been very toxic, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, water roses type shit. So that was like my way of offering an olive branch to him once again. Now, him saying, we shall see, dot, dot, dot. I easily could have taken that as him feeling like I didn't crawl back to his ass when that's not the case. I was actually giving him an opportunity to make things right because I know I intentionally made it very difficult for him to come near me. I had boundaries in place. This is me giving him the opportunity to lead me. We can take it one day at a time. No rush. Or no pressure. At least not on my end. Meaning I'll follow your lead, whether it goes anywhere, somewhere, far, nowhere, whatever. It's up to you. I'm following your lead. So about 3 days later, he asked for me to text him. What was it? 2 days. 2 days later, he asked for me to text him. I asked what's his number. He said, "What's yours? I'll hit you up." I gave him my number at the time. That's no longer my number. Then I sent him this audio message. I can't receive phone calls on it, just text, because it doesn't have any service. I text over Wi-Fi, but I can do FaceTime audio and FaceTime video if you have an iPhone, just in case you're trying to call and it's saying that it's off. So then he said he'll hit me in a second. I said okay. Then he messaged me. He texted me a little later saying, "What you doing now?" I said, "Tending my eyebrows." He said, "Where you at?" I said, "Home." He said, "I'll FaceTime you shortly, wrapping up a work task." I said, "Okay." So I was like, let me see what's going on over there. Let me see what he got going on. Let me see if he's ready. Let me see after all this, all these difficulties, all the fighting that he's doing. Let me see, if he's ready for me. Let me see if he's ready to welcome me into his life with open arms and things of that nature. So after, you know, he said he was going to FaceTime me. He FaceTimed me later on that day. It wasn't too late. So and when he FaceTimed me, when we first FaceTimed, um, it was cool. You know what I'm saying? One thing that he did is I had my phone like on a tripod, sitting on my bed, FaceTiming him. And this man said, "Let me see your eyes," and pulled my face close to the camera, and I'm fighting like to get the fuck, like, get off of me. But that's the kind of control he has over my body, just to give you a little idea of the type of connection that he and I has. Like, he literally pulled my face to the camera to look into my eyes, and I literally couldn't do nothing about it. I was just fighting to pull myself back. Like, what the hell? But he asked like questions, like he was asking me because and when he watches my stuff first and foremost, like he watches my YouTube, he watches my social media. I already knew that shit. But he basically was like telling me, he was asking me about our first contact. He was like, "Remember when you made contact with me?" I said, "Made contact with you?" I said, "You made contact with me." And he was like, "Mm-hmm." Like he asked a question to get my answer to verify that, whatever. Like, then he was asking me because I had got into it, I guess you can call it getting into it with a witch on my YouTube channel. And basically, he was bringing up a little verbal, little spat me and her got into, where I was telling her, because she was basically studying me to find a weakness and was asking me about that because he watched that. He was all, he watches me. He's going to watch. He's watching this. Like he watches everything. So he's going to watch this once this is up. But he was asking me, he was like, I be watching you. I was like, yeah, I knew, I already knew. Like, how would I not know? Like I could feel his reactions to stuff. He would do certain things when I would post stuff. Like, come on now. Like, like he would ask questions that he already know we both know the answers to see what my answer is. But outside of that, he when we first started FaceTiming, one of the first things he said was that him and his child's mother don't live together. He said we don't live together, and I let her stay in the house. So I was like, okay. But I also was like, well, I looked up because once I found out that's who his child's mother was trying to see their connection and how tight they were, I looked up her house and the house is in her name. Because that was her house that I delivered the dresser to. And he was like, I know it's in her name, but he was saying, just because whatever, whatever. I was like, all right, fine. But he was saying he let her keep the house, but he said it in like a very proud way, like he was proud. I was like, okay. And he also was like, so basically we have an understanding. And he was like, yeah, no secrets, being open and honest. Like he was like, I understand that. So I was like, okay, cool. That's our first FaceTime. He FaceTimed me earlier that day, and then he FaceTimed me again that night. He was getting some pho from a restaurant, and he seemed very happy to talk to me. Like he was just looking at me and looking happy, like he was elated. So it started off pretty positive, our first contact of me coming to him. And I could have came to him at any point in time, but like I said, I stated previously why I did it. But after everything, I was like, let me see what's going on, especially knowing the connection that him and his baby mother have, knowing that that's his twin flame. His twin flame connections are, I was basically strong enough and didn't give a fuck enough to be in and out. And I listened to my intuition. So I was in and out of mine. But seeing how she conducted herself, you know, they're dynamic, and what she did, what she chose to do, had twin flame like written all over it. And I also looked up their birthdays, but I looked up their birthdays during the 8 months separation of me and my soulmate, when he separated me and my soulmate. I looked up their birthdays, and oh my goodness, their birth charts, twin flame all over it. Now here's both of their birth charts. They are both Capricorn suns, both Gemini moons, both Mercury Capricorns, both Sagittarius Venuses. Both of their Mars is in Aries. What else they got in common? Both of their Plutos are in Scorpio, and that's it. But that's 7 placements that are identical out of 13, because their ascendants are not accurate because I don't know their birth times. So more than half, or about half of their birth charts are identical. And I don't even know if their risings might be identical too. So I can see why they basically encountered each other and felt like, you know, a close connection, but there are always going to be similarities and compatibilities when you're dealing with twin flames. If you didn't feel a connection, compatibility, or like some kind of feelings for them when you meet them, or some kind of like, strong connection, then you would ignore them and you wouldn't learn a lesson that you're supposed to learn. So there is supposed to be, some kind of compatibility, but those relationships, those connections are to teach you lessons. Basically, they introduce you to, you know, they're like they introduce you to the spiritual side of life. They are a catalyst to your awakenings. You know what I'm saying? Like when you see what they are and who they are, you're supposed to get step, into your ascension process. You're supposed to do certain things, and first of all, detach from them. You're not supposed to stay with them. Like that's the worst thing to do. After the first and the initial contact, when I made contact with him this time, so mind you, we had not talked since August of 2023. Everything that happened between August of 2023, when I decided to run, up until I contacted him at the end of January of 2025, we hadn't had any physical communication at all. At all. He made the initial contact in August of 2022. He made his second contact in August 2023. From August 2023 until January, the end of January 2025, it was no communication, no interaction, nothing in the physical. We weren't even friends on social media at that point. So after I made the contact, it lasted. It was good for a good 3 days. So I think we talked on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, come fucking Friday. We talked early in the day Friday. Everything was cool. We texted back and forth. We didn't FaceTime Friday, I don't think, but we texted back and forth. Everything was cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm being myself, being flirty, being fun, and all that type of shit. So come Friday, I had texted him something. Like it was in the evening time. So it might have been like 8, 9 o'clock Friday night. And he texted me back, Daddy, duty time. So I'm looking like, Daddy duty time. So I'm assuming, okay, you're with your children or your baby or whatever. He has 2 kids. So I'm assuming he's with his kids. And I'm like, why can't I text you during daddy duty time? So that kind of took me aback. Like, here we go with this stupid shit. Like, I can already see where this bullshit going. So I was like, whatever. So come Saturday, I could feel him in my sexual energy. He was doing too much. But at that point, I was like, first of all, he was in my I didn't I don't like if I should be able to text my husband because to be quite honest, that's my fucking spiritual spouse. Like he's not just any old body. He's my fucking spiritual spouse, and I should be able to text him whenever the fuck I want to text him. So that turned me completely off. That threw me like I'm like, oh hell no. Like it turned me off. Like I'm like, I'm not taking no nigga seriously. I can't text whenever I want. Spiritual spouse or not. But I damn sure should have the right to text my spiritual spouse, the one that did all that bullshit in my life, and the one that want to block my connections, and the one that want to control me and possess me. I should be able to text that nigga anytime I fucking please. But that daddy duty time bullshit, I'm like, okay. I was like, I'm not taking him seriously. I'm not going to take him seriously. So come Saturday, he's in my sexual energy. And I said something to him like, I told him to stop or chill or whatever. And he basically, on the iPhone, when somebody texts you something, they can elaborate what they said, so they can either put like laughing, exclamation points. He put exclamation points like he had that on daddy duty time, like telling me, reinforcing his daddy duty time the next day, the next afternoon. I was like, oh, okay. So I can't text you during daddy duty time. So you telling me your phone is completely shut down daddy duty time, so can't nobody text you, or I just can't fucking text you. Because you know why? Because he was with his baby mama. He's with his baby mama. Now, like I said, our first conversation, one of the first things he said was he don't live with her. And if he might not. But if you're over there spending the weekend with her, then you might as well say you live with her. Because daddy duty time should be able to happen at your house. I should be able to text him whenever the fuck I feel like it. So I was like, you know what? Everything went downhill from there. So on one hand, I was like, okay, I can't take him seriously, but maybe we could still have like some kind of, relationship. It might not be romantic, we could still be cool. And I had sent him a message like, I sent him a text like, you know what, I'm really I was trying to have a good attitude and not trying to trigger him and not trying to go there. So I was like, you know what, at least we're on speaking terms at this point. Like, let's try to just keep it that way. Like, I'm really not trying to go there, and I really tried to compose myself. But he was still trying to impose himself on me, still all in my sexual energy and stuff like that. It was to the point, like, when he really hyper focuses on me and be on me, like, it could be to the point where, like, I can feel paralyzed. Like, I can be in the bed and can't move my legs. Like, I'd be paralyzed from the waist down. Or if it's really intense, I could feel like I'm being pinned to my bed. Can't move my whole body. I'll be totally paralyzed. Or he'll be in my sexual energy like crazy. Or he'll like take my head and like kind of, it feels like I'm being smacked, like smacking me, all kind of fucking shit. It was very toxic. It was very intense. None of the stuff he did hurt me, obviously. Like, it wasn't painful, but he was basically asserting his dominance on me. He was very domineering. So there were times where I would play along and, try to be cordial. I would tell him to chill and get off of me and stuff like that. It was not a good thing. Um, it wasn't constructive. It was just something that I couldn't stick around for. So this happened. Me and him first started talking at the end of January. By the middle of February, basically, I was done. Basically, by Valentine's Day. So the last thing that happened that made me be like, fuck this bullshit. Like, I'm not dealing with this. I'm gone. So first of all, I couldn't text him when I wanted to. So basically, we was bumping heads about that.